Hi there, I'm Jack Van Ryn, Mayor of the Town of Coaldale. I will be giving you a council brief from our regular council meeting that was held April 22nd, 2024. And the first item on the agenda was under agenda item 4.1. We had a presentation regarding our 2023 audited financial statements, and we had our CFO, or Chief Financial Officer, Kyle Beauchamp, and along with him we had Nadine Granson. She was from Avail, and Avail is our accounting firm that does our audit for us. And they did an excellent presentation through PowerPoint slides, and I'm going to have that entire presentation along with the agenda package in the comment section. So if you look at the agenda, there'll be a blue link. You just click on it and it'll take you to the staff report, and it'll explain everything that was presented to council at our council meeting. At the end of the report, Coaldale is in an extremely positive financial situation. And for 2023, we had a surplus of $613,698. And some of the surplus was projected, so we utilized that as part of our 2024 budget deliberations, where the funds will be going towards that. And as part of the PowerPoint presentation, if you go through it, you'll see the particular items that the funds will be used for. Again, Kyle did an excellent job, and council praised not only Kyle but his support staff for all the hard work that they put into this statement. And at the previous council meeting, we recognized our accounting department for the 5th year in a row. They won a national accounting prize for best practices. So congratulations to our accounting department. The next item that came up on the agenda under business arising from the minutes was 6.1, drought management in Coaldale, regarding potential long-term water conservation measures. And we had our Manager of Government Relations, Jonathan Wensveen, present. And as part of the presentation, Jonathan referenced a letter that we received in December of 2023 from the Minister of Environment and Protected Areas, the Honorable Rebecca Schultz. And the letter which was sent out to all municipal leaders in Alberta, where she wrote, in order to be fully prepared for a severe drought, municipal leaders throughout Alberta will need to take action. And as part of the letter, it explained there is essentially 2 reasons why Alberta is currently in a significant drought. Last summer, several water basins reached critical drought conditions due to low rainfall and high temperatures, and the world is currently experiencing El Nino, a global phenomenon occurring for the first time in 7 years that is causing less snow and rain, along with higher temperatures, heightening the potential for significant drought into spring and summer 2024, particularly in southern Alberta. So as per the town's water supply agreement with the City of Lethbridge, it states that whenever the city deems it necessary to encourage voluntary or impose compulsory restrictions on water usage within the city limits, the town, as a member of the Lethbridge Regional Water Services Commission, shall encourage the same voluntary or impose the same compulsory restrictions on water usages as imposed by the city. So what that means is that we get our potable water from the City of Lethbridge through a pipeline system. And these restrictions will be implemented in accordance with the city's updated water rationing action plan if deemed necessary. And what we had to talk about at our meeting was to consider, however, is this implementation of a number of longer-term water conservation measures that go above and beyond any short-term voluntary or compulsory restrictions adopted by the city, which are similar to those measures put forward in the city's recently published water conservation plan and strategy that's part of the agenda package that I'll have in the comment section. So just to give you a little bit of data, we get our water from 2 water sources. And as of April 15th, 2024, water levels in the Oldman Reservoir near Pincher Creek remain very low. In April, water levels should range between 60 and 80% of total capacity. Currently, water levels in the Oldman Reservoir sits at 35% of total capacity. And the same thing is true for St. Mary Reservoir near Spring Coulee. This time of the year, water levels should range between 50 and 75% of total capacity. Currently, the water levels in the St. Mary Reservoir sits at 26%. So due to the current conditions, not only do municipalities have to look at how they can conserve water, it also applies to the irrigation districts. So St. Mary's River Irrigation District, for instance, that looks after the irrigation water or raw water in southern Alberta, is down from 13 inches last year to 8 inches. So the farmers, for producing their crops, last year they were given 13 inches of water. This year they're only going to get 8 inches. So based on that, the city of Lethbridge, they get their water out of the Oldman River, and the conditions are exactly the same way, where the water levels are way down. And the water that comes out of those 2 reservoirs that I just mentioned, 83.5% goes towards irrigation, and municipalities take up 3% of that. And we have to do our part on what we can do to conserve water moving forward. And there's a couple of cities right now that have what's known as a block rate tiered water pricing system. It's a 3-tier system, and essentially it's a user pay. So you get your basic tier water amount, and then if you surpass that, you go to the next tier, and you're penalized for using that extra amount of water. So that's for people that over sprinkle their lawns, their gardens, people that use water for pressure washing their sidewalks. In other words, you're abusing the water and you're wasting the water. So there's a penalty towards that. And the city of Edmonton imposed that, and back from 2012, and people, once they're accustomed to that, they start paying attention to the amount of water that they're using. And by implementing this 3-tier system, water consumption in Edmonton dropped 23%, which is a lot. And the other municipality that did the same thing was Okotoks, and they started doing it in 2003. So they've been very proactive, and their water consumption dropped by 32%. So that's all that means, is that people are paying attention to the amount of water they use. So the town of Coaldale passed a motion for administration to come back with more information on 5 items that we can do to help with the amount of water or potable water that the town of Coaldale uses. One is the block rate or the tier system I just explained, based on the amount of water you use. Another option to conserve water is a rain barrel rebate program. So basically what that means is you can go out and buy a rain barrel that you can have your eaves troughs dump into, and then that water you can use for watering your flowers, your garden, however you see fit. And the town of Coaldale as part of that, would put money towards paying for the rain barrels. So the way that we have it set up right now, we have some rain barrels available at the town shop, and you can buy those outright for approximately, I'm going to say $72 to $78 each. But with this new measures that we're looking at doing, and we've instructed staff to come back with more information, is that we will let you go out and buy your own rain barrel, and then we would refund you 50% of the cost. And we're looking at budgeting $10,000 towards that, and that would pay for approximately 250 rain barrels. And a single rain barrel, based on some statistics that we got from Green Calgary, is that you can capture over 900 gallons of water per year, and that's just basically rainwater that's coming off your roof. And again, obviously that's determined on the amount of rain that you get. So we can save so much water if by doing this. So if 25% of our homeowners in Coaldale did that, we could capture up to 2,720 cubic meters of storm water a year. And this small little step with the rain barrels would go a long ways to helping the situation that we find ourselves in. So that's something that's going to be coming up. We're also looking into storm cells at our old water reservoirs. So those are the decommissioned water reservoirs that are over by the quads, where we can utilize water from the SMRD to water some of our sports fields. And right now our quads, they use a combination of potable water and raw water from the SMRD. And aside from paying for that potable water to irrigate the soccer fields, other negatives of the current system include a very complex St. Mary's water pump station. The raw water that we currently get needs filtration and screening before we put it through our sprinkler system. And the other problem with the SMRD is that they have a short window from May to October that we can draw the water from. And the purpose of the irrigation cell is to eliminate the potable water consumption. So that's using chlorinated water for watering large sports fields. And the town of Coaldale has to pay for their potable water just like you do, the homeowner. By installing the irrigation cell at the old reservoir, we could use a combination of raw water and storm water. But the estimated cost to install this would be approximately $250,000, and which would result in an annual cost savings of approximately $10,000 a year, or 8,500 cubic meters of potable water. So we asked staff to come back with some firm quotes for that, so that we can talk about that further at budget cycle this fall. And all these things I'm talking about aren't going to happen overnight. This is long-term planning that we're going to do. And here's another one that's a big ticket item, is our spray park in Coaldale. And next to the quads, or our sports fields, the Coaldale Spray Park is the second highest potable water user among town-owned operated facilities. And the way the park works is that it's called a flow-through spray park. So you turn on the pressure at the spray park, it goes through all the different spray features, and then it goes down the drain and then ends up in our storm water system. So we use a lot of water, and sometimes as much as $30,000 in one season. So a way of mitigating that is to put in a water recycling system at the spray park, and that's where we recycle the potable water, clean it, and reuse it again. But again, that comes with a price tag of $200,000 to $300,000 to make those changes. but that'll save us 8,000 cubic meters of potable water per year. So again, this is something that's going to be long-term, so we instructed administration to come back at a future council meeting when we start our budget talks this fall with some firm quotes and how we can start budgeting to make some of these needed changes. And the last item, xeriscaping. So it's a water conservation measure that the town could adopt, encouraging and incentivizing or even requiring xeriscaping for new and or existing residential and non-residential development projects and properties. So xeriscaping is a way of promoting water conservation in landscape ideas, so that can be anything from limiting the amount of grass you have, improving your soil health, using mulches, planting drought-tolerant plants, or using artificial turf in areas. And xeriscaping conservation measures fall on a spectrum from voluntary to regulatory. So as a community or as a town, we can make changes to how we can affect and create a xeriscaping program that would work basically like a rain barrel rebate program. So the rebates would be made available for properties with and without existing landscaping, and could cover up to 50% purchases for drought-tolerant plants, artificial turf, rubber mulch, etc. So again, this is just another way of conserving water. And administration is going to be coming back this fall as part of our budget cycle to see which one of these, or one or two or three, or all five of them, based on what the capital costs are going to be for that. After that, agenda item 6.2, the Cottonwood Drive traffic calming curbs. And that was regarding on Cottonwood Drive, when you're coming in off of Highway 845, Orlando Lakes Drive, there's a intersection off of 845 and 21st Street, and there is a crosswalk, and the staff report provided additional information that council regarded putting in the traffic calming curb installation mid-block. And these are concrete movable curbs that we want to do as a test at that location. And what it does is that it narrows the street by the crosswalk so that drivers notice that and they slow down, because the crosswalk is mid-street from one subdivision to the next. So it's all about pedestrian safety. So that was approved at our council meeting at a capital cost of $7,500 to get those installed. And then under bylaws and policies, we had Clayton Rutberg, our Director of Protective Services, and our Fire Chief present on the Emergency Services Bylaw 888-R-04-24, and that was regarding second and third reading. And this stems from a very old fire service bylaw that was first passed in 1984. So we're just updating some of the definitions, and also modernize the Emergency Services Bylaw that ensures Coldwell District Emergency Services has the proper authority and direction to respond to emergencies and to implement mitigation strategies to prevent emergencies. This bylaw also provides some procedural clarity on mutual aid, and that's when we assist departments in other areas. And it closely is related to the level of service policy that was presented to council, that will be presented to council in an upcoming meeting. So second and third reading was passed for that. And again, I'll have the entire bylaw in the comment section. And then, under agenda item 7.2, we had our manager of community policing, Mark Anderson, present on a business license bylaw amendment to bylaw 877-R-04-24. And the purpose was to make the amendments to the current business license bylaw to align with current provincial regulations and better identify growing business sectors and encourage compliance. And this bylaw was last looked at in 2005, and it basically, what we talked about at our meeting was the current taxi bylaw and the fees associated with that, and also food trucks, and also market and farmers markets. And the current taxi bylaw from 2005 references old standards in taxi administration. It was designed during a time of heavy regulation by the municipal governments in the delivery of taxi services, and that's changed considerably since 2005. And the same thing with food trucks, to treat food trucks the same as any other business through their mobile and seasonal nature, which makes them very unique. And then the last one was for farmers markets. Currently, we have no definitions for market or farmers market existing in our business license bylaw. And adding this definition will clarify the situation and provide business and key staff direction when planning or booking events. So it's basically getting us to the 21st century and streamlining procedures for those three items I just discussed. And then we had something quite unique for the town of Coaldale. Actually, it's a first for the town of Coaldale. And this is regarding rezoning amendment to 889-P-04-24 to rezone a portion of Northeast 40920 west of the 4th from urban reserve to direct control. And we had our Director of Growth and Investment and Deputy CEO Cameron Mills present. And the lands in question are located in southwest Coaldale and serve as the existing location for a dairy farm. So that's straight south of Coaldale Nurseries. And they have the tall blue silos. With the current rezoning in place, there is no opportunity to expand or improve the existing dairy operation. And the applicant is interested in pursuing a rezoning in order to modernize the operation while also adding a tourism and education element by the way of the establishment of a eco-dairy operation. This will be the first, to my understanding, in Alberta. There's many in BC. So this is something that Coaldale is very interested in pursuing. And this land that we're talking about was annexed into Coaldale back in 2017. So in order to move forward with this, administration has to determine that the first step required in the process would be to establish direct control zoning, that council can review more detailed plans and ultimately determine if the applicant, his proposal is in the best interest of the community. So we had to pass first reading for that. And with direct control, that means council controls anything and everything that's going to happen with that development. It has to come to council for approval. So that's very exciting. Stay tuned. That's going to come back over the next few months. There'll be a public hearing where residents will be able to come and speak to for or against. And the developer of the lands next to this is excited for this because this will give an opportunity for a residential development where there'll be houses that'll back onto this operation, and for school kids to go learn about the dairy operation. You'll be able to go there for fresh milk. They'll have homemade ice cream available, to my understanding. So it's quite unique for the town of Coaldale, if not the province of Alberta. And then that was it for the open portion, we had Councillor Beekman give an excellent verbal update on the Coldale Public Library. He's our council rep for that board. And then we had some information items. We had the minutes from the Gem of the West Museum, the Southern Regional Stormwater Drainage Committee, and the Barons Eureka Warner and Family Community Support Services, or FCSS. So that was it for the extent of the agenda. Again, I'll have the agenda package in the comment section. I encourage you to go through it all in more depth. And if you have any questions, reach out to myself. I'll have my contact information at the end of this video, my email, my phone number. I'm always available. Same with the rest of council. Give us a call. We're willing to meet with you and discuss any concerns you have. Other than that, make sure that you, after you watch this video, I appreciate any comments that you can leave. If I can do things better, let me know. And also like it, share it on your own social media pages to get this information out. And other than that, if you see me on the street, stop me. We can have a conversation. We can go for a cup of coffee. And I always look forward to interaction with our residents. So until then, or the next time I see you, you have a fantastic week, and I'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.